welcome to my pattern making channel. I'm Biola. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to draft a basic skirt block pattern in 5 easy steps. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the first step in skirt pattern making is taking accurate body measurements. Okay, so please do check my previous video on how to take body measurement for constructing a skirt pattern. Alright, so when you're done taking your measurements, I always advise that you transfer your measurements onto your pattern sheet for easy referencing. Okay, corner, your bottom right hand corner is a good place to do that. So I'll just transfer my measurements to my right hand corner. No measurements really, I'm just putting it in blocks. So here you write your waist, W is for waist, your hip depth and the length. Okay, so this place we have this column we have the full measurement, the half and the quarter, because we are going to be doing basic divisions. So waist is 26, 34 inches, hip depth 8 and length 20. Okay, so we are going to be dividing just the circumference measurements. We are not going to be dividing the length. So half of 26 will give us 13. Half of 34 will give us 17. And then we have half of 13 is 7.5, all in inches. And 17 will give us 8.5. Okay. All right, our hip depth, we're just going to be taking away 1 from it. I'll explain as I go on, which will give us 7. So we're not dividing the hip depth because it's a vertical measurement. All right, that done, let's get right into drafting. Okay, first step done. Second step is to determine your boundary. By boundary, I mean the width and length of your skirt block, and that is done with a simple calculation. So you can do that by using this formula: quarter hip plus quarter hip plus 1 inch. 1 inch here is the zip allowance, and our hip here is the bigger of the two. That means which one is bigger out of the waist and the hip measurements. For most people, the hip is always bigger, but sometimes you might have it being the same in people that have big tummies, or even a little bit, or even the waist being slightly bigger than the hip. So if the waist is bigger than the hip, then you'll be using the waist measurement to calculate your boundary. Any of the two, anyone that is bigger out of the two. So for this measurement now, the hip is bigger, so I'm going to be using the hip as for the calculation. So we have quarter hip. Our quarter hip here that we've calculated is 8.5. 8.5 plus 8.5 plus 1 inch. So all in all, we have 18 inches as our boundary. Okay, that is for the width. Right, for the length, it's just as simple as your length plus 1 inch. Your 1 inch here is your hem allowance, or if you want it wider than that, you can use 2 inches, but 1 inch is okay. So our length is 20 plus 1 inch, that will give us 21 inch. So our boundary for the skirt pattern is 18 inches wide by 21 inches in length. Okay, so that's step 2, half of step 2. So the next half of step 2 is to mark out the boundaries that we have determined. Okay, so let's do that. So we have 18 inches so you can mark it in bits, 8.5 first, 8.5, then your 1 inch. So 18 inches, we have so there we have. So step 2 done. Label it, and this right here is a zip allowance. Okay, so this is the front. You can label the center front CF, and this is the back. You can label it CB. All right, so step 3 is to mark out the hip line. So remember, I deducted 1 inch from our hip depth, and that is because I don't want the hip depth to seem long and drop. I would minus 1 inch from it. So I'm going to be marking out 7 inches instead of 8 as my hip depth. Alright, so that's my hip line. Step 4 is to mark out the waist. Okay, so step 4 is to mark out the waist, and then you add that while marking out the waist. Sorry, I've corrected the measurement here. The quarter measurement is 6.5, not 7.5. Okay, so 6.5 plus 1, it will give us 7.5. we'll mark that out. 7.5. And then on the back we mark out 7.5. So I'll be measuring from the CB, not the zip allowance, from the CB seam line. So this is 7.5. Okay, so now you can go ahead and use your hip cup. I advise that you use this kind of hip cup or even the plastic ones, but there's the other kind of hip cup that is actually for armor. I wouldn't advise you to use that because it gives false hip. So at the end of the day, you end up with excess and a bulge that you have to now adjust during fitting. Okay, so to make your work easier, it is advised that you go for a proper hip curve instead of using an armhole curve to connect the hip and waist. So you have your hip, and then you just reverse it, and then you have your hip, right? So that done, how will you know how to place your darts? It's just for you to divide the whole 7.5. So the midpoint is where your dart is going to be, and then it's going to be half inch. So 7.5 divided by 3 will actually give you 3 3/4. So if you measure 3 3/4 is at this point, and then you have half inch to either side, and your length is going to be 4 inches. And there you have it. Sorry. That's a V dart. So same thing for the front. Seven 3 3/4 at half inch. Measure 4 inches. And then roll it. Okay, so the last and final step is for you to lower your front waist. The front waist is usually lowered because you want your skirt to follow the normal shape of your waist. Even when drafting a bodice pattern, the front waist is usually lowered just to assume the natural flow and fit and shape of your waist. Okay, so we're just going to be lowering our front waist by half inch. It can be more than half inch. You can increase by 1/4 inch every 2 sizes, but the lowest is half inch, and the highest should be about 1 inch 1/4 or 1.5 inch. Okay, so I haven't done that there. You lower your waist. Make sure that this edge is almost straight, not cut, so you don't end up having like a V or something here, so it's not coming straight and ending here. It's not a V. If not, you end up with a V. So it's somewhat straight, like half inch straight before it goes up at the curve. All right, so that is the final step. So if you want to cut your pattern, before you trace, while tracing, if you want to trace out your pattern, make sure you follow the dart, because that will give your curve another shape. So make sure you follow the dart and reshape it. So that is what your skirt will look like when you reshape it. Okay, so that is it, guys. Your skirt block in 5 easy steps. So all you have to do if you want to work with this is for you to trace this out on another paper, and then you can do your manipulations from there. So this is now your standard skirt if you make any. So the front, so here the CF is usually on fold, so here is usually on fold, the front is usually on fold, depending on what you want to make, the style you're making. So this is your front piece and your back piece, and you're good to go. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and feel free to share the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe so you can get notifications when new video drops. Thank you, and see you in my next video, inshallah.